Good evening, everybody. Hey. I hope you all got some of the free wine and that you're enjoying that. We're going to need that. We're going to sustain each other, bring this energy all night long. So we're at the end of another amazing conference. Did you guys have a good time? You enjoy yourselves? All right. Good, good. I'd like to give it up one more time for the amazing O&A staff and volunteers who made all this possible. Yeah. The OJA banquet, it's a wonderful capstone to our conference, and every year, it's just so inspiring to see so much great work being produced. And the thing is every year it gets even better. Every year, it's more and more impressive. And tonight's no exception. So our MC tonight is Sam Sanders, who's the host of the nationally syndicated talk show. Yeah, it's right over here. He's the host of the nationally syndicated talk show, It's Been a Minute. So please welcome Sam to the stage.
Hi. Don't clap yet. I could be very bad at this. It's my first time doing it. So keep drinking more and I'll sound better, yeah? My name is Sam Sanders, longtime journalist, first time OJA MC. I host the NPR, thank you. As I said, we don't know how this will go yet. I host the NPR podcast and radio show, It's Been a Minute. If you are a listener, you know that I interview journalists like yourselves to help audiences better understand both the news and the stories behind your stories. If you aren't a listener, a bit about me. I love being able to talk to people on the front lines of important stories, people like all of you. I love being able to talk about the news in ways that connect a lot of different topics to each other all at once. I love talking with real people out in the world to see how the news affects them. And I will not lie, I love to interview celebrities. Tonight, you all are the celebrities. We are here to honor and celebrate the best in online journalism, journalism made by you. Journalism doing all of those things that I just listed, those things that I love, and more. I'm so honored to be your guide this evening, but before we start, I will do my best to keep this show moving along as smoothly and as quickly as possible. Because, yes, but quick applause, because we're moving quickly. The after party is just around the corner, and that will be much more fun than this and me talking, all right? So in that spirit, there are several award show host things that you will not see me do tonight. There will be no costume changes. I will not sing. I will not dance. I will not wander the aisles and make you talk to me. I promise. All right, before we get to the part that we're all waiting for, let's take a moment to thank our OJA chairs, P. Kimbui and Shazna Nessa. Let's also thank our generous sponsors, the Knight Foundation, the Gannett Foundation, the University of Florida, Journalism 360, and the University of Oregon's Agora Journalism Center for giving almost $63,000 to provide cash awards to a few of tonight's winners. Thanks also for the Democracy Fund for sponsoring the Micro Newsroom General Excellence Award for the second time, making it possible for the smallest newsrooms to compete free of charge. And we can't say enough to thank our volunteer judges and screeners who spent hours making very difficult decisions. I'd still be tossing and turning making those calls. If you are among the 160 screeners who reviewed more than 1,100 entries, or our 42 judges who made very tough calls, please stand up right now for your applause. You've all earned it. All right. Everyone out there, should you come up here tonight, please remove your name badges for the video cameras and make your way swiftly to the podium on the left side of the stage to enjoy a minute of O&A fame behind the microphone. Do not stretch that to 15 minutes. I've been told by management to do whatever it takes to get you off the stage when it's time. Also, please do not go live from the podium. and exit also on this left side. If you don't go home with the prize tonight, please know that every single finalist here tonight is making outstanding work and competing with the best online storytellers in the business. Everyone here is making a difference, and that most definitely deserves a round of applause. And for the person or persons out there who have not yet turned their phones to silent, we know you're out there. Turn your phone to silent. Everybody in this room, raise your right hand and repeat after me. My phone is on silent. Thank you. This is your chance now to ignore text messages and all the notifications and just celebrate the best in our business. All right? So with that, let's get to it. Yeah. Exciting, exciting. First award, we're going to kick off with sports in the small medium category. The finalists are Dirk's Domain, the ultimate career retrospective of Dallas Mavericks superstar Dirk Nowitzki, Dallas Morning News. Titletown, Texas, All We Got, McClatchy Studios. Judges said the winning entry was an example of a newsroom bringing its journalism to spaces where its audiences are. The presentation felt modern, paving the way for this legacy newsroom's work to feel fresh and relevant to the way today's audiences consume news. The winner is Titletown, Texas, All We Got, McClatchy Studios. Congratulations.
Oh my gosh. Titletown, Texas is a story that began in small town Aledo, covering a 5A high school football powerhouse. But for the season of All We Got, producers Jessica Kaselniak and Brittany Peterson embedded in the juvenile detention facility in Gainesville to tell the story of Coach Roy Burns' first year as head football coach. Gainesville State School is the last stop before adult prison. And the football team is the chance for those students to get a chance at redemption. It was a privilege and an honor to tell this story, and it's a real honor to accept this award tonight. Thank you to the O&A Awards Committee. In addition to Brittany and Jessica and myself, Ayana Morali, John Forsyth, Patrick Gleason, Sohail Al-Jamea, Marie Chowdhury, and Ali Rizvi. Many, many others also have a part in this award. Thank you so much. The entire series is available on Prime Video, Facebook Watch, and YouTube. Thank you so much.
Congrats again. In the large category, the finalists are 2018 FIFA World Cup Russia, La Nación. Nike told me to dream crazy until I wanted a baby, the New York Times. Paddling for gold, the Seattle Times.
I love trying new things, and I love being out on that board.
Judges describe this winning project as a real treat for sports fans. The winning team built 23 news apps and data visualizations, giving users numerous options to customize and interact with this content experience. Audiences spent more time with this project as a result. This winning entry carried a sponsor. Good journalism takes investment. The winner is 2018 FIFA World Cup Russia, La Nación.
I got it. I'm sorry. I'm a bit nervous.
Well, thank you very much. I am here on behalf of our team at La Nación. We are extremely honored to be receiving such an important award tonight. You know, soccer isn't just a sport for us, it's a part of our lives, it's in our roots, it's part of our culture. So for that 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia, a complete coverage was planned with more than 23 interactive visualizations, a draw simulator, live statistics, data analysis, fixtures, and more. So after months of effort and hard work, we're really happy and grateful for this recognition. So thank you very much.
Congratulations. Next up is explanatory reporting. This category recognizes entries that go above and beyond to explain the significance of news developments in depth, helping audiences to better understand the news. Among small news outlets, the finalists are Harvesting Peril, Extreme Weather and Climate Change on the American Farm, Inside Climate News. Hawaii 2040, Honolulu Civil Beat. La Cuba que viene, El Toque. The judges were impressed by the volume of information the winning team waded through to develop the subject mastery necessary to clearly explain this complex topic and break down the big issues surrounding it. The winner is La Cuba que viene, El Toque. We'll get the award to them.
If this message is in front of
I'm
you,
sorry, they have a video.
it means that a bunch of Cuban journalists living in Havana are going to scream of joy and happiness very loudly, very soon. What we tried to do was just to serve, with a full commitment to help Cuban people to understand a very complex constitutional reform that was about to impact our lives deeply. This award goes to all the creators and experts gathered around this unique initiative. And it also goes to all the colleagues in the independent journalism field in Cuba that are, like us, struggling to show how creative and diverse is the Cuban media sphere. Thank you. Thank you all.
For medium-sized outlets, the finalists are Jailed in Crisis, Mental Illness in America's Jails, The Virginian Pilot. Lessons Lost, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Perversion of Justice, Miami Herald. Powerless, ProPublica, Charleston Gazette-Mail. Judges loved the way the winning entry gave audiences a variety of opportunities to engage with content, including interactive features and sorting tools. This made for a reading experience that was both interactive and narrative, the judges said. Judges loved the feature that allowed audiences to zoom in for more detailed photos. And the winner is Powerless, a collaboration between ProPublica and the Charleston Gazette-Mail.
Thank you very much to O&A. Reporter Ken Ward, Jr. of the Charleston Gazette-Mail had a vision years ago that he was watching changes in his state as it was moving away from coal and embracing natural gas. And the question was, how is this affecting the state's landscape? How is it changing how it looks? How is it changing how it sounds? How is it changing what it feels like to be a resident in the state? So he applied for and became part of ProPublica's local reporting network, which is our effort to recognize good ideas across the country and communities and help reporters tell those stories by matching them up with the expertise at ProPublica in areas like research and data and news apps. And he had a chance to work with Mayetta Clark on our staff, an extremely talented videographer, and Al Shaw, one of our news app developers. And they created an amazing interactive that lets you really see firsthand with drone videos and time-lapse videos and sound how the state of West Virginia is changing because of their embrace of natural gas. It's well worth your time to take a look at it, and really thank you to ONA for recognizing the work.
Now for large newsrooms in this category. The finalists are Gone in a Generation, The Washington Post. Hostile Waters, Orcas in Peril, The Seattle Times. Solitary Voice of the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, NBC News Investigative Unit, The Intercept, and Univision. Why Disasters Happen, The New York Times. Judges were impressed by the winning entry's combination of exemplary explanatory reporting and a great sensory experience. They commended the winner for diving deep into the history of an important local issue while telling a parallel story about the region's history. The winner is Hostile Waters, Orcas in Peril, The Seattle Times.
Oh my gosh, wow. Thank you. We are so excited to be accepting this for the staff of the Seattle Times. In 2018, the death of an orca calf and the 17-day long lament of its mother, Taliqua, received an outpouring of public sentiment, which led our team to examine deeper the plight of the Puget Sound's southern resident orcas. Reporter Linda Mapes, photographer Steve Ringman, videographer Ramon Dampour, artist Emily Yang, tirelessly pursued this story, spending days out on the waters between Seattle and Vancouver to capture this tale. The southern resident orcas, which once numbered in the hundreds, are now sliding into extinction and continue to struggle to survive amid the waters polluted by more than 6 million people that use the sound for pleasure and profit. The work of this reporting and the cross-discipline team that assembled the project explained how our actions and inaction contribute to the demise of these whales. As we've talked about in many of the panels here in the conference, climate change affects all of us, but often its impact is felt most by the creatures that have contributed least to the problem. The demise of the southern resident orcas is only the symptom of a diseased ecosystem looking for a cure, but it's not too late. There's still work to be done, more stories to write, more action to take. Then perhaps the song of 100 orcas may sing through the sound again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Now for large newsrooms in this category. Sorry. Bear with me. Next up, we have the Excellence in Audio Digital Storytelling Award. This award honors exceptional efforts in digitally focused audio storytelling. Judges evaluated podcasts and audio-focused online pieces and audio from emerging media. The award is broken into 3 categories: a limited series, ongoing series, and the use of storytelling. Finalists for limited series are Believed, Michigan Radio, and NPR. A Gladiator, with Aaron Hernandez and Football Inc., the Boston Globe, and Wondery. Last Seen, WBUR, and the Boston Globe. and infectious, the strange past and surprising present of vaccines and anti-vaxxers, WBUR and Reddit. Judges applauded the winning entry for taking listeners behind the scenes of a fascinating local story. This exceptional piece of audio storytelling was augmented with video, tidbits from reporters' notebooks, and a Facebook group that smartly encouraged readers' participation, helping this series to rise to the top of a very competitive group, judges said. The winner is Last Seen, WBUR and the Boston Globe.
Well, I'll be brief because we got half of Boston up here. So, thank you for this award. It's an honor and a privilege.
Well, thank you so much. I'm representing the WBUR of this partnership, and it's been a great partnership. Last Seen is the story of the world's most expensive art heist. And I feel like this is a heist of a different kind. I want to take a moment to commend the great journalism by the Boston Globe and the investigative team that worked on Gladiator, the story of Aaron Hernandez, and the incredible and important reporting of our colleagues at Michigan Radio, who produced the story, Believe, that told the story of Larry Nassar's sexual abuse case and the devastating impact it had on the USA Olympic team. Two really important stories. I also want to thank the O&A for creating this awards category. It was a category that leveraged the audio chops of WBUR with the years and years of coverage by the Globe's newsroom. Last Seen brought every part of WBUR's operation together with the journalists, editors, sound engineers, developers, marketing, and revenue teams. It was an extraordinary team effort that created new ways for us to integrate and work well with one another. The Boston Globe did a great job, and I just want to thank the O&A and the judges for recognizing the work of these two great newsrooms.
Congratulations again. Sam. Hi. All right. In the ongoing series, the finalists are 70 Million Podcast, Lantigua Williams and Company, Drilled, Critical Frequency, Throughline, NPR. Judges commended the winning team's ability to command the attention of an easily distracted audience by taking true crime approach to bringing readers to an important storyline. More than 1 million listeners have downloaded tonight's award winner, focused on an important topic that can struggle to win the attention of time-strapped listeners. Judges said the winner's creative approach made it worth taking time to listen and shows why this team is deserving of this award. The winner is Drilled, Critical Frequency. Accept the award tonight on their behalf. Congratulations. In the use of storytelling, the finalists are Monumental Lies, Reveal from the Center for Investigative Reporting and PRX Type Investigations. Sex Hurts, Bodies Podcast, KCRW. Judges described the winning entry as controversial, compelling, and expertly produced. Judges said the project is far deeper than it appears on the surface and explores just how difficult dismantling cultural narratives can be. The winner is Monumental Lies. Reveal from the Center for Investigative Reporting and PRX. Type Investigations.
So I'd like to accept this award on behalf of Reveal and the Center for Investigative Reporting. And I also have our partners to thank in this tremendous effort. Reveal takes great pride in covering these tough stories and bringing the right layer and context to deliver something that we think our audiences deserve to hear. So thank you. And we really appreciate ONA for gathering us for this great work of investigative journalism and online journalism. So thank you.
I thought my suit was nice. That's a nice suit. It can take an entire newsroom to tell a powerful story. Sometimes 2 or more newsrooms. This award, now in its second year, honors journalism organizations who have worked in collaboration to better inform audiences. This year's finalists are Broke in Philly 2018, Resolve Philadelphia. Next up, Election Land, ProPublica, and the Election Land Coalition. Hurricane Maria's Dead, Quartz, Puerto Rico Center for Investigative Journalism, and the Associated Press. The Implant Files from the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, and Avatros, the NBC News Investigative Unit, the Associated Press, and more than 50 media partners. Since Parkland, a coalition of students and educators, the Trace, the Miami Herald, and McClatchy. Judges describe the winning collaboration as a true piece of public service journalism that empowers the American public to participate fully in their democracy. Judges commended the winning team for creating an interactive platform that also enables other journalists to build off their work, furthering the collaborative spirit of the project. And the winner is Election Land, ProPublica, and the Election Land Coalition.
I didn't take off my name tag, and I didn't silence my phone. I've done literally nothing I've been told to do. I just wanted to, hi, I'm Scott Klein. I'm one of the sort of core team members on Election Land. Election Land is a project that we've now done twice that tries to answer the question, how can investigative journalists be useful in a live news event like an election? So Election Land brought together 120 newsrooms to try to cover the election in 2018, but specifically voting itself. Who's able to vote, who's not able to vote, what are the impediments to get them to vote, and is there a way that investigative journalism done really, really quickly can re-enfranchise people who are otherwise unable to vote? So lots and lots of people to thank, because it's a huge coalition. Maria Sanchez-Diaz, who is now at the Washington Post, who many people here might know, is the person without whom none of this could have happened. Jessica Hoosman at ProPublica, Ken Schwenke, Jeff Cowd, Jack Gillam, lots and lots of people at ProPublica, Simon Rogers at Google, Sarah Bartlett and Andy Mendelson at CUNY, and hundreds of experts and students and catchers and reporters who worked with us in the days leading up to the election and on Election Day. So thanks very much. See you all next year, and thanks.
Congrats on the award. You still got to silence your phone. Now to move on to a very special O&A award. This award honors the people behind the scenes who are making tools to help journalists do their best work. Because we got to be honest, it takes a village of support to pull off a truly exemplary piece of journalism. Here's O&A Board Secretary and OJA Co-Chair Shazna Nessa to present our second ever O&A Community Award.
Hi everyone. So I am super honored to be presenting the second ever Community Award. And this award is really special because it's the community, including so many of you tuning in today and in the room today, who made the nominations. This award honors an individual or a small team who have worked behind the scenes. They've worked behind the scenes, perhaps to create a powerful network of people who come together to solve a problem. Or perhaps they've worked behind the scenes to create new tools that enable digital journalists to do their best work. Or perhaps they've created an amazing project that has influenced and resonated with the industry. The winner of the award today has achieved all three of these things. This year, the award goes to the journalists of color Slack administrators. They've created a powerful 1,300-person network of journalists of color who come together to learn from one another, to share knowledge with one another, and to support one another with the goal of advancing diversity in our newsrooms and in our journalism. So who are these administrators? We have Lo Benishu. We have Cece Wei, Tahid Chappell, Eric Rayner, Aaron Williams, Lam Thuy Vo, and Julia B. Chan.
Hi, I'm Julia. And you all are a very intimidating group to be speaking in front of, but that's what makes this honor so great. Because if any group knows what it takes to make journalism happen, it's this one. You are all intimately aware of the work it takes to bring an idea to life and produce a story for other humans to read, listen, watch, experience, and engage with. Even in the smallest newsroom, it's never just one person making it all happen. There's an invisible infrastructure that exists that often isn't bylined or credited. As a journalist of color working in the digital space, when you fall into one of these non-traditional roles, the loneliness and lack of support can be acutely felt. So the origins of the JOC Slack, or jocks, as I like to joke, we're redefining the term jocks post-high school. It very much came from this place of anxiety. I'm sure you are all familiar with a bad day in the newsroom, so there are some things you do when that happens. You take a walk around the block, you may text a newsroom confidant to meet you in the bathrooms or at the closest cafe. So Aaron Williams and I used to work together. He's no longer on the screen, but he was the guy on the bottom. We used to do that. That's how we provided support for each other. And one day when I was waiting for him at a Starbucks across the street, I was thinking about how unsustainable and unscalable this kind of support was. And what about journalists of color who were the only ones on their team, in their department, or in their entire organization? So very much inspired by the Lonely Coders Club, which is a community our colleague Scott Pham started, we created the Journalists of Color Slack. In those first few weeks, it was just me, Aaron Williams, and Mike Grant chatting it up. But now, 4 years later, we're nearly 1,300 strong, So JOCs tapped into an urgent need for community and support, one that was lacking in this industry that we love so much and are so desperate to thrive in. Minority journalism organizations like AAJA, NABJ, NAHJ, and NAJA paved the way, of course. JOC is just a layer on top of those long, legendary legacies of hard work. We wanted to create a place where journalists of color could easily talk and connect with each other, vent, advise, and share. And what happens in JOC aspires to make an impact. When JOCs advise each other on salary negotiations and they get paid more, that is helping to move the needle on equity in our industry. When JOCs mentor each other on stories and coverage, that is helping to provide new lenses and context to our journalism. And when we organize in-person events and allies show up to ask hard questions about effective support and communication, that is helping to create a more inclusive network and culture outside of JOCs. But this isn't enough. This is just a space for convening, and what happens in the real world depends on all of you here in this room today and what you're willing to do in your newsrooms to invest in, give visibility to, and elevate journalists of color. Because at this stage, it's not enough to just hire people of color. Equity and inclusion are the next frontiers ensuring we serve our audience as well. And that can mean relinquishing power and giving it to a journalist of color, or giving resources, time, and editorial space to stories from journalists of color about communities of color. So the work you see from these faces next to me and previously on the screen, their work has been crucial to these efforts. This team has created procedure and guidelines from scratch. Lam here providing essential coaching to younger journalists. Cece bridging work from her organization to the JOC's community. Lo and Tahid vetting our many, many join forms, of which there was a huge uptick after this award was announced. Aaron finding ways to use Slackbot to streamline communications, and Eric laying down the law on @channel pings. We all know who does that, and you should stop. So that's just a small slice of the work this team has put into the community. JOC is really the best of what we do as journalists. It's community engagement, relationship building, articulation, and organization. So thank you so much to ONA for recognizing and honoring the labor, passion, and necessity of this network. And for you, the ONA community, for honoring the kind of work that is very much behind the scenes and often goes unacknowledged. Thanks to each and every person beside me and on the screen for volunteering their time and energy. And most importantly, thank you to the JOC community. You're out here. You all make it what it is today. We're not a monolith, but there's power in unity, and you'll only hear more from us. Thank you.
Okay, this is a spot in the award show when someone else has spoken for a while, so the host goes backstage and uses the bathroom and changes clothes, and then comes back out of a side door for some audience banter and crosstalk. I'm not doing that. It's a late night, we gotta move on. All right, so everyone in this room is excited about that win. Once more, let's give the JOC Slack organizers a round of applause. Next up is the online commentary category. It honors unique and powerful voices creating original online commentary. This year's online commentary finalists are A Woman's Rights, the New York Times. Free Press, the Boston Globe. Shades of Black, the Guardian US. The Privacy Project, the New York Times. Judges described the winning entry as thorough and eye-opening. They commended journalists for their strong understanding of the subject matter, for experimentation they incorporated into their reporting, and for their willingness to take on a project of this scope. The winner is The Privacy Project, the New York Times.
Hello. Wow, this is such an honor. Thank you so much. I'm Stuart, the graphics director for Opinion. I'm accepting this on behalf of all of Opinion, because all of Opinion really did work on this. Privacy is an issue that touches every American, everyone in the world, every business, every government agency. But the way that we talk about it is usually using words that are hard for people to get excited about. Data sets, algorithms, trackers, things like that. And it's hard to break through to readers who really need to know what's going on in privacy. So this project tried to reboot the conversation using every tool that we have at our disposal today, including some technology that wasn't really available to journalists until recently, including facial recognition. It's definitely by far the biggest project and most ambitious project that Opinion has undertaken, and it included so many diverse voices, from tech giants to religious leaders to parents and even some philosophers. Lots of people who wrote for this series called for a desperately needed federal privacy legislation. I think it's fair to say we're closer today than we have been before in this country, but the fight continues, and so does this project. So thank you so much for this amazing honor. Thank you.
Congratulations. Next up is breaking news. This category honors exceptional digital coverage produced under breaking news pressure. This year's finalists in the small newsroom category are Austin's Boil Water Notice, KUT News. Magnitude 7.1 earthquake strikes South-Central Asia, the Anchorage Daily News. Seeing a black hole for the first time, Science News. Judges commended the winning team for their ability to skillfully report the news while potentially suffering its consequences. Judges were especially impressed by the comprehensive package of clear writing, stunning photography, and curated social media this small newsroom was able to pull together. The dedication this newsroom showed in reporting this story demonstrates the power and importance of local breaking news coverage, the judges said. The winner is Magnitude 7.1 earthquake strikes South-Central Asia, Alaska, Anchorage Daily News.
This thing is pretty heavy. It's an honor to be up here. This is actually the first time we've ever entered the OJAs. So now we have a really high standard to meet from now on. When the earthquake hit, everyone had a story to tell. And it wasn't just a breaking news event that we knew would need to be covered comprehensively and thoroughly from a straight news standpoint, but it was also this significant cultural moment for South-Central Alaska. And we knew it would require all hands on deck. Throughout the day, we chased stories where readers led us. We wrote about how to turn off your gas or how to check for structural damage. We wrote about earthquake science. But even writing about the psychological toll of the thousands of aftershocks that would continue to rumble the region throughout the next hours, days, weeks, and months. At times, and of course, you can never expect them. We were able to mobilize quickly because of strategic decision-making by newsroom leaders and support from management. That iconic earthquake photo, many people, I think, would say that they think it's taken by a drone. It's not. We actually had to charter a small plane at a time when it was really difficult to make those logistical arrangements. We chartered a small plane to take those images from above. because we knew that's where we could really see where some of this damage happened. Reporters and members of our visual team were on the ground, even though they had their own personal emergencies to attend to. Misinformation was floating around our community through various channels, and our staff didn't hesitate to run toward the chaos to get vital information to our readers. Like many others here at ONA, we've been rung through periods of tremendous uncertainty about the future of our news organization, us perhaps more so than some others. But we've been able to tap into a network, even though we are an independently owned news organization, with support coming in innumerable forms from organizations like the Knight Foundation, Pointer, API, and our table stakes peers. Go table stakes. As well as all of the connections we forged here at ONA. So in Anchorage, our readers hold us to a high journalistic standard. Striving to meet and exceed that standard is built into our DNA. It's a privilege to serve our community and to earn the trust of our readers day in and day out. It truly is an honor to accept this award on behalf of our staff. Thank you.
Congratulations. For the medium category, our breaking news finalists are Campfire, California's deadliest wildfire, San Francisco Chronicle. Christchurch terror attacks, Radio New Zealand. The Capital Gazette shooting, the Baltimore Sun and Capital Gazette. Judges described the winning package as remarkable, commending its strength of reporting, arresting visual, and the speed at which this package was produced. Judges applauded the team for keeping communities on the ground informed and ensuring access to contextual information on a fast-moving story. The winner is Campfire, California's deadliest wildfire, San Francisco Chronicle. Congrats to them again. We'll get the award to them. Yeah. And for large newsrooms, our breaking news finalists are Christchurch terror attacks, Stuff. Fire Mauls' beloved Notre-Dame Cathedral in Paris, The New York Times. Massacre at Pittsburgh's Tree of Life Synagogue, Pittsburgh, Post-Gazette. Judges described the winning entry as being fueled by great reporting and writing. They commended the newsroom for involving journalists from across the newsroom in the project and for giving readers the chance to share their thoughts. Judges said this piece of award-winning journalism is a reflection of a strong and well-connected local newsroom. The winner is Massacre at Pittsburgh's Tree of Life Synagogue, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Ivino. I was the deputy managing editor at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette at the time of this. Before I delete my notes. I'm no longer there, but that morning of the shooting, I had taken my 4-year-old daughter to breakfast in one of our favorite restaurants at Squirrel Hill. On our walk back home, which is only a few blocks, by the time we left, to the time we got home, 11 of our neighbors were dead and 6 others were wounded. It was an incredible response from our newsroom. As soon as we realized that something was wrong, everyone jumped into action. As you said, a sports writer went to the scene immediately, he lives nearby. A news reporter went to the scene, lives nearby. A politics editor went to the scene, who lives nearby. And then from there, it continued. I set up shop in my dining room table and directed coverage from there while everything was going on. There are many, many people that you could thank for this. But it was a total team effort. That newsroom has gone through quite a lot in the past year, year and a half, 2 years, and I'm very proud of everyone there. So on behalf of them, thank you so much.
This next award honors the technologists behind the journalism, those building tools to enable journalists to do their best work. Let's face it, without them, our jobs would be a lot harder. Here to present the Gannett Foundation Award for Technical Innovation in the Service of Digital Journalism, please welcome Emily Nash, Vice President of Local News at Gannett USA Today Network.
Good evening. I'm honored to be back at ONA again this year to present an award that's near and dear to our hearts, the Gannett Foundation Award for Technical Innovation in the Service of Digital Journalism. This award honors a person or company that has built a digital tool or platform that significantly enhances the practice of online journalism. It also comes with $5,500 in prize money. This year's finalists are 360-degree Drone, CNN, Open Government Guide, Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press, and Two-Tone, Datavise Technologies. This year's winner created the first drone capable of shooting stable 360-degree footage without showing any part of the drone and live TV footage at the same time, producing previously impossible camera shots. The judges called it an exemplary example and cited the winner for creating an instructional video of how they did it to share with others so they could also learn. This year's winner is 360-degree Drone, CNN. All right, we will accept it on their behalf and congratulate them again.
Here to present the Gather Award for Engaged Journalism, please welcome Andrew David Gall, Associate Director of the University of Oregon's Agora Journalism Center and Executive Director of Gather.
Good evening. So the Agora Journalism Center's Executive Director, Regina Lawrence, and I are proud to make this award possible with the winners of the project and portfolio categories, each receiving $2,500 in prize money. This award honors people and projects that work with the community as part of a story or reporting process. But first, I want to take some time to answer the question I'm sure most of you have is, what's Gather? So, Gather is a platform that supports community-minded journalists and engagement professionals. And thanks to the support of the Knight Foundation, Democracy Fund, and the News Integrity Initiative, we developed Gather, and I have the privilege to be working with Community Manager Joy Mayer, that's right, give it up for Joy, as well as the project manager, Alicia Savson. Yes. And most importantly, Gather brings together journalists who are responsive to the public's needs and inclusive of the public's voices to learn from and share best practices with each other. To join this community of practice on Gather, please visit letsgather.in. And I believe it's apropos that the award is named after the platform that supports the community of journalists that are committed to listening to the public they cover every single day. And the timing is a testament of how important this work is becoming to the future of journalism. So now whether you call this work engagement, participatory, or simply incorporating community engagement techniques to create on-ramps for the public to participate in what we generally would call beat journalism, right? We're honored to collaborate with ONA to support this first Gather Award in Engaged Journalism. Now on to the awards. The finalists in the project category are Facts Matter, PH, Rappler. Documenters, City Bureau. Florida Voices, USA Today, Network Florida. Hospitals kept ER fees secret. We worked with patients to uncover them, Vox. And 3 Mile Island Accident's 40th anniversary, PA Post, WITF. The judges had this to say. The winner offers an easy-to-navigate site for readers who are interested in finding out where public meetings are being held. The site goes a step further to explain why these meetings are an important part of democracy. Overall, this site demonstrates a different way of visualizing localized news by giving readers the opportunity to learn what public meetings are being held in their communities and how to participate in the process. And the winner is Documenters, City Bureau.
Unbelievably, my heart's pounding here. I'm Darryl Holliday, one of the co-founders of City Bureau in Chicago. I am accepting this award on behalf of so many people. I'm going to forego a proper speech because really all I have is a lot of thank yous. Thank you to the 1,000 documenters in Chicago and Detroit who are trained and paid to keep our elected officials honest. To the 40-plus volunteer coders who've contributed to our technology so far. To the Knight Foundation, to the Democracy Fund for supporting this work early on. And to ONA's Women's Leadership Accelerator cohort for giving us a spot at the table. We appreciate it. News is better when we make it together. So I want to thank everyone in City Bureau's network, our fellowship alums, our public newsroom attendees, our members, and our many colleagues across the country. So many of you in this room. Thank you.
The finalists in the portfolio category are KPCC, Southern California Public Radio, and the Bureau Local, the Bureau of Investigative Journalism. The judges had this to say. This year's winner has not only been transparent and engaging with their local community, but the journalism community as well. Their impressive portfolio included events, engagement-based stories, and playbooks on how to replicate their work. The winner is KPCC, Southern California Public Radio.
She's fine. Sorry. I'm really not used to winning awards, but I'm not used to having engagement be part of awards. And so I'm getting emotional. Just thank you so much for embracing engagement as journalism, for recognizing it as an engine for our journalism and a path toward our sustainability. Wow, a path toward our sustainability. I think that I am so beyond fortunate to be at a newsroom that is invested in identifying the information needs and habits of our community, to listening with intent, and then being committed to doing something about it. I'm also, if you haven't gotten on Gather, I highly encourage you to check it out, because what you have in that space is a community of people who aren't just talking the talk, but walking the walk, and sometimes running across the stage to hug. I'm an introvert, but I did that. So thank you again.
How are we feeling? Okay. I'm feeling good, because my 3 worst fears tonight were that someone was going to rush the stage, someone would trip coming up to the stage, or we have to take someone off the stage. And so far, those things haven't happened, so I'm feeling very good. Okay. Feature stories are made for the web, and the entries in this next category show why. Our small category finalists are All the President's Meals, Foreign Policy. "5 Days to Vacate, How a Sudden Setback Can Lead to an Eviction in Travis County," KUT News. Shocked and Humiliated, Lawsuits Accuse Customs Border Officers of Invasive Searches of Minors and Women, the Center for Public Integrity. Stuck Kids, ProPublica, Illinois. The judges applauded the winning package's solid reporting and exceptional editing, describing it as a high-quality project with important implications. The winner is Shocked and Humiliated, the Center for Public Integrity.
Congratulations. It's my first time kind of doing this, so hello, hi, I'm Christine. I'm the Audience Engagement Editor at the Center for Public Integrity. I'm here accepting this award on behalf of our immigration reporter and editor, Susan Ferris. So shout out to her for doing this amazing story on how officials at the border and airports had abused their power for invasive body searches. And thank you so much for partnering with us, Washington Post. So yeah, thank you so much for this award.
Congratulations. For medium newsrooms, the finalists are 150 Minutes of Hell, Inside Northern California's Deadly Fire Tornado, San Francisco Chronicle. Losing Laura, the Boston Globe. Millions of women already live in a post-Roe America, a journey through the anti-abortion South, The Intercept. The best way to save people from suicide, I'm Still Here, HuffPost Highline. The Ghost of St. Joseph's Orphanage, BuzzFeed News. Judges said the winner deftly weaves together dogged reporting, video, graphics, and eloquent prose to tell a love story that challenges assumptions and holds power to account. They commended the author for melding investigative reporting, strong writing, and multimedia to recreate the final hours of his wife's life. The winner is Losing Laura, the Boston Globe.
not expect this at all, since there's no speech, but it was a really important story to tell. It was a really hard story to tell. So thank you so much for this award, and shout out to our team over in Boston who made it happen. Thank you.
As you all know, it takes 1 million people in a newsroom to pull together something like this, and so as Anush said, thank you so much to the Globe Newsroom for the digital team, the graphics team, the video team, for the long-suffering editors who put it all together and ran a 10,000-word story in the Boston Globe magazine. But special thanks to Peter DeMarco, who told the terrible story of how his wife died in her 30s outside of an ER. And so, yeah, thank you.
I just want to echo what they said. It's a complete and absolute newsroom adventure. Everything we do is every single person in the newsroom pitching in. And so thank you to everybody at the Boston Globe.
For large newsrooms, the finalists are the Artifacts of Injustice, the Seattle Times. Surrounded, Los Angeles Times. Visual Investigations, Gaza, the New York Times. Judges commended the winning entry for marshaling the tools of digital storytelling to form a rich, compelling narrative from one of the most tense regions in the world. Judges recognized the months of on-the-ground reporting and collaboration with outside agencies that went into reconstructing an incident in 3D using thousands of videos and photographs from dozens of witnesses. This story not only cast doubts on the official version of the story, it used advances in digital storytelling to bring details to life. The winner is Visual Investigations, Gaza, the New York Times.
Thank you very much. This story focused on a young medic, Razan al-Najjar, she was a volunteer medic who worked on the protest fields in Gaza, who our team had met a few weeks before she was died, and were struck by her charisma, her dedication, pacifism, and when she was shot dead a couple of weeks later, we felt duty-bound to investigate what had happened, tell the story of her life, her hopes and aspirations, and the limitations of her circumstances, and her determination to help people, but also to employ all the available tools and really experiment to try to understand how she was killed, why she was killed, and we were ultimately able to sort of freeze that moment in time and in space, examine it in space, and what led to it, and were the reasons for taking that gunshot justified. And although it was focused in on her story, it kind of illuminated a huge story that was unfolding in Gaza along the fence with Israel last year, when 5,000 other people had been shot, and the practices of the Israeli forces in defending the border. Anyway, it was illuminating. It was a big team effort. Our team in Jerusalem, in Gaza, international team, visual investigations team, and if you'll bear with me, I would like to just thank them all. Yusur Al-Hlu, who really led the reporting on the ground and back in New York, David Halpfinger, Iyad Abuela, Mona El-Najjar, John Wu, the editor on the project, Neil Collier, Abu Fadi, who took care of us in Gaza, Marcel, who's here beside me, Hopkins, Tim Chaffee, Michael Slackman, Mark Scheffler, and Nancy Gauss, who are our editors, and also Eyal Wiseman and Nicholas Masterton at Forensic Architecture, who helped us with the 3D reconstruction. It's an honor to accept this award on behalf of everybody. Thank you.
Please welcome Kim Bowie, OJA co-chair.
I wasn't really sure what to do because I was like just over there and I wanted you to have some more of that lovely elevator music. So you've made it. We're about halfway through. See? You've eaten, you've cheered. Maybe you have a giant thing on your table that we like to affectionately call the nerd knife. And you're wondering how you will get that past TSA. Don't worry, we have boxes for you if you ask. For everybody else, I hope you enjoyed the meal and the company. It's become a little bit of a tradition for the co-chair of the OJAs, that's me, to give a little pep talk or real talk about the state of journalism and what the Online Journalism Awards mean. You've heard multiple times by now that it's ONA's birthday. The little organization founded in an airport is now nearly 3,000 people in one of my favorite cities. For somewhere around half of those years, I've been attending ONA, and ONA has been there for me. Through pretty much every single of my 5 or so layoffs, each rough time, each meltdown, this organization and the people in it have called, emailed, offered advice and support. I have changed for being here. You have probably changed for being here, even if it's your first year. Change is probably the only constant we know now. The first time I stepped onto an ONA stage, it was to talk about social media analytics as an early social media editor. Today, I'm the Vice President of the Online News Association and leading a local newsroom with a made-up title and a true sense of confidence. Somewhere in this room is someone whose life was changed by the Women's Leadership Accelerator. They're probably sitting right there. Or the MJ Bear Fellowship. Or the Student Newsroom, they're probably over there. Maybe we gave your school a challenge grant, or you found a job at one of these conferences. Perhaps you learn how to lead through the ONA local program. ONA has gone from a small, tight-knit family of misfits to a large, robust organization of change agents. I mean, look at tonight's winners. Look at the fact that there is a Journalists of Color Slack group that regularly provides support to JOCs across the world. Look at how widely our audio awards have expanded and meant so much to the innovative storytelling that public radio can and should do. That's not to say change has come easy, and it will not get any easier. Business models, how we talk to our audiences, how we work for the freedom of the press, then the change of humanity, including how we support each other, have changed and must continue to do so. So let's be flexible, but ready to stand up straight and tall when we need to. Let's be a little bit kinder and a lot more curious and empathetic. This is my last year on the ONA board, and I couldn't be more proud of where this organization is today. I have run into so many misfit friends in these hallways and at parties here, and I'm blown away by how many of us are being the leaders that we always wanted to see. That includes some pretty awesome promotions for some of ONA's key staff. So keep going, y'all. Don't stop. Be your weird self, your misfit self, and let's continue to shape journalism for another 20 years.
Thank you, Kim. Next up, we have the David Tewin Student Journalism Award, named in honor of the late managing editor of USA Today. This award honors student journalism that expertly uses technology and digital storytelling to inform audiences. 2 of these awards are accompanied by $500 cash prizes. Snaps for that. The finalists in the small category are Dirty Business, UC Berkeley Graduate School of Journalism. Follow the Water, Hidden Cost of a BC Town's Water, University of British Columbia Graduate School of Journalism. Inside Queen's Unpublished Foreign Investments, the Queen's Journal. And On the Line, UC Berkeley Graduate School of Journalism. Smoke and Mirrors, UC Berkeley Graduate School of Journalism. Y'all have all the students. Judges described the winning project as exotic, visually stunning, and one reflective of the strength of the winning school's journalism program. The story was one, quote, we kept thinking about after reviewing all the entries, they noted. And the winner is Dirty Business, UC Berkeley Graduate School of Journalism.
Wow, it's such an honor to be here. First of all, I want to thank the opportunity to collaborate. My wonderful colleague, Francesca Fenzi, unfortunately, she couldn't be here today, but I just wanted to thank her for the opportunity to collaborate on this beautiful project. And I want to thank my partner, Mei Ying, for all the support and love and always being there for me in the last 4 years or so. Thank you. And also, I wanted to thank the wonderful multimedia program at UC Berkeley Graduate School of Journalism. And obviously, Richard Cochier Hernandez, Jeremy Rue, John Temple, thank you all for the wonderful support, guidance in the last 2 years or so. And finally, I just wanted to point out that this story is just one part of the big multimedia group project that we pulled off at the Berkeley J School earlier this year. And if you wanted to check out the rest of the project, go to unseen.report. Thank you.
Congratulations. The finalists in the large category are A Different Border Crisis, Arizona State University Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. Borderlines, Syracuse University S.I. Newhouse School of Public Communications. Native News Honors Project, University of Montana School of Journalism. Puerto Rico, Restless and Resilient, Arizona State University Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. Uprooted, UNC Chapel Hill School of Media and Journalism. The judges said this story went below the surface, literally, to tell a compelling, different kind of story about the border. The winner is A Different Border Crisis, Arizona State University Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication.
My name's Chloe Jones. I'm an investigative journalism grad student at Cronkite, but we did this project last year, It took a long time, or it felt like it was a long time, but we really only did the whole thing in 4 months. And we all worked really hard. There was only 4 of us. It was me, I did the digital and writing, and half of the photos. Austin here, he did all the broadcast videos. Jonah made an amazing podcast and did a bunch of audio elements as well. And then of course, this was also in conjunction with Cronkite News and Cronkite Noticias, so we also had a Spanish version as well, and that was thanks to Mia Armstrong. The Cronkite School is an amazing program, and thank you so much.
I want to say thank you to the Cronkite School for giving us the resources and the opportunities to travel back and forth to the border over the course of a whole semester, really. And I dedicate this to my grandpa, Eddie. Thank you.
Congratulations. Next up, the Pro-Am Student Award. This award celebrates innovative ways student and professional journalists are collaborating to cover critical issues. This year's finalists are Hate in America, Arizona State University Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. Homeless Realities, USC Journalism, Al Jazeera Contrast. Since Parkland, a coalition of students and educators, The Trace, Miami Herald, and McClatchy. And the winner is Since Parkland, a coalition of students and educators, The Trace, Miami Herald, and McClatchy.
Wow, what a tremendous honor. Have a lot of people to thank because it was a very, very big project. Every day on our beat, we witness how gun violence takes the lives of young people, of teens, toddlers, and babies. And many of their stories go untold, primarily because many of these victims are Black and brown. To be able to tell these stories with student journalists who are the next leaders of our generation, of our industry, makes me feel hopeful for the future of our industry. I want to thank our journalism educators, Katina Perone and Beatrice Motamedi. If you guys are interested in working with student journalists, you need them, so hit me up. I'll give you their contact. Thank you to McClatchy, who were just eager and willing collaborators from the very beginning. Could not have done it without you. Literally could not have pulled 1,200 police reports and profiled 1,200 young people without McClatchy. And from the very beginning, we thought it was important for student journalists to tell these stories because gun violence factors into their lives in ways that did not for many of us. So we have one of our Since Parkland student journalists here, Joshua.
How is everyone? My name's Joshua Johnson, and I took part in the Since Parkland shooting project. And this project really, by bringing the youth in and having them write the stories, I wrote obituaries, and we all wrote obituaries, and by having the students write obituaries, it really brought me to a different light, as in like not hearing it from a grown-up, but being me going and doing the research and looking into people's stories, and it really hit hard to find out how these young people died to gun violence. And me personally, I knew someone that was in the project, and so that definitely hit home. But I was grateful to be a part of it because it really shed light on the situation.
I want to say one more thing, and this is something that my co-finalists at USC and Arizona State know, but many of the problems we're facing are in need of narrative shifting, bold journalism, and student journalists can do that. They're capable of that, we've seen that. And as an industry, we haven't utilized them the way we need to, so I think that they bring and have brought a palpable, undeniable moral weight to the work that we do, and we need to create more opportunities to bring journalists, the future generation of journalists, into our work.
Congrats again. New this year is an award for excellence in digital video storytelling. This award honors strong and innovative work in telling stories through digital video, including animation. This year's finalists are Gone in a Generation, The Washington Post. Operation Infection, Russian Disinformation from Cold War to Kanye, The New York Times. A Real America with Jorge Ramos from Immigration and Univision. Visual Investigations, The New York Times. Uncovered, Channel 4 News. Judges described this winner as instantly memorable. The stories told and the user experience were excellent, authentic, and intuitive, they said. The winner is Real America with Jorge Ramos from Immigration and Univision.
Thanks to the ONA and to a distinguished group of nominees. Immigration and our immigrant communities are subjects that Jorge Ramos has lived and breathed on Univision television for over 35 years. I want to thank Univision and Facebook for giving Jorge the opportunity to showcase so many of these important stories in a new medium, in a new format, in a vertical format, and uniquely for Jorge in English on Facebook Watch. Jorge is fond of saying, I'm a dinosaur, but I don't want to go extinct. And I think this project has allowed him to stay extinction-free for quite some time to come. We have a really great team of producers and editors, digital journalists who help with this project. I can't thank them enough, and I thank all of you. Appreciate it.
Congratulations. Here to present this year's Excellence in Immersive Storytelling Award, please welcome to the stage Paul Chung, Director of Journalism and Technology Innovation at the Knight Foundation.
I have to say, ONA, I really love the 80s jazzy music. It's keeping me alive and awake. This award honors an exceptional effort in immersive stories, telling in virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, 360 video, or other emerging media. But what is not augmented and virtual is the cash prize of $5,000. And here are the finalists. 12 Seconds of Gunfire, The Washington Post. Remember Emmett Till, The Legacy of a Lynching, The New York Times. Swampscapes, University of Miami. And the winner is The New York Times.
Thank you so much. This project, it's an interactive article and a VR documentary that explores Emmett Till's legacy in the Mississippi towns in which he was lynched in 1955. For this, we combined on-the-ground reporting with immersive and multimedia elements. This was a deeply collaborative project, and we worked across several teams in the newsroom. I'm Veda Shastri, the producer of the project, and I worked with National Enterprise reporter Audra Birch, cinematographer and video editor Tim Chafee, graphics producer Nicole Feynman, graphics and digital designers Karthik Patanjali and John Wang. We were supported and led by Loretta Charlton, Mark Lacey, Marcel Hopkins, Maureen Towie, and Graham Roberts. A historical marker in Mississippi honoring Emmett Till has been repeatedly vandalized with bullets for several years. And there were several other structures locally that were also crumbling and at the risk of being lost. Because this story was very much about these physical spaces and the memory of him and his story, we used 360 video, drone, a graphic overlay of archival photographs so that viewers could feel the presence of these spaces as well as witness the stark contrast of the past. The story, unfortunately, does continue, and the dishonoring of Emmett's memory there's more to be reported on and covered. Since our story published in February, a photograph came to light as recently as this summer showing students posing with guns in front of this bullet-riddled sign. That marker has since been removed, and a bulletproof memorial sign is expected to be installed next month. So, thank you so much.
To present ONA's longest-running honor, the Knight Award for Public Service, please welcome LaShara Bunting, Director of Journalism at the Knight Foundation.
Wow, why thank you. Good evening. It is such a pleasure to be here among so many inspiring journalists who are telling important stories in interesting ways. The Knight Award for Public Service recognizes digital journalism that performs a public service through compelling coverage of a vital community issue. It comes with a prize of $5,000. The finalists are Growing Up Through the Cracks, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Pain and Profit, the Dallas Morning News. Protecting Voters' Rights, the Texas Tribune. And the Force Report, NJ Advanced Media. Here is what impressed the judges. The winning entry is a remarkable and timely body of work that's inspiring reform and driving discussion between the residents of New Jersey, the police, and government officials. The investigation is truly exemplary, the kind of public service journalism we can all be proud of. And the winner is the Force Report, NJ Advanced Media.
Hey, so I didn't think we'd be up here. The Force Report was a project, much like many data projects, where we had a launch date, we had another launch date, and then we had another launch date. But in that time, the Pima people here never wavered. They were never good enough with anything we had, and they never stopped believing in the good work they were doing for local news. Steve Sterling, Aaron Patenko, Disha Ray Chaudhry locked themselves in a home away from home, which we called Conference Room B. It was a carefully climate-controlled room with many negotiations about the temperature, and inside there they tenanted 72,622 police use of force forms to check and recheck hundreds of thousands of data points. They did this while telling the stories about the people most affected by police use of force. Carla Astadio created the heart of the project, the searchable database. She spent a lot of time at the bar on weekends with her computer and a glass of wine. Sean Sullivan brought the stories to life from the words and was the first line of editing. Yan Wu created an amazing interactive that I encourage everyone to go and see at nj.com/force. Blake Nelson and Joe Atmanovich also wrote the solidest takedowns we've ever seen in police departments in New Jersey. They called to the carpet two systems desperately in need of fixing. And the lead reporter on the project, Craig McCarthy, probably lost years off his life with the arguments he's had with police chiefs over giving over the public information to us. And Chris Baxter, the co-editor with me, Ashley Graff, lost years off our lives while talking Craig down from his anxiety. Through all this, we had a major support from the social in our team, from our leaders, Kevin Whitmer, Sean Federico Omerchu, Chris Kelly. And this award really is for all of the people here care about most, which is keeping the people of New Jersey safe, and go local journalism.
Please welcome Eric Carvin, AP's Global News Manager for Digital News Gathering, and Diane and John Foley of the James W. Foley Legacy Foundation.
Each year, ONA presents the James Foley Award for Conflict Reporting to a freelance journalist who truly honors Jim's legacy. Someone who tells powerful, important stories about life in one of the world's most dangerous places. This year, the award goes to Tomas Ayuso, a Honduran photojournalist, writer, and researcher whose work is focused on conflict and displacement in the country of his youth. I'll tell you all about Tomas, but first I'd like to introduce Diane Foley. Diane is the founder and president of the James W. Foley Legacy Foundation, a group that advocates for the rights and safety of journalists, particularly those working as freelancers in places affected by conflict or other dangerous conditions. ONA is proud to present the James Foley Award in close collaboration with the Foley Foundation, and I'm honored and humbled to welcome Diane to the OJAs.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to thank ONA for this very special award in memory of our son, James Foley, an American freelance conflict journalist. Jim was kidnapped while reporting in Syria in 2012 and killed 2 years later in 2014. His Legacy Foundation advocates for freedom for Americans kidnapped abroad and for journalist safety worldwide. It's a particular honor tonight to present the 2019 ONA James Foley Award to an amazing freelance journalist who continues Jim's legacy of moral courage, passion for reporting the truth, and extraordinary talent. As Eric told you, the awardee this year is Tomas Ayuso.
Thank you, Diane. We're grateful to have you here tonight. You and your family will forever have a special place in the heart of the ONA community. Now, let's learn more about Tomas. Migration is born as a result of different rights becoming elusive in 21st century Honduras: the right to housing, the right to a dignified source of income, and, more recently, the right to grow old. Tomas Ayuso wrote those words about the country where he spent his youth. It's how he introduces an ambitious project, a 5-part photo documentary series examining why so many people have left their homes in Honduras and El Salvador and headed north. The series also delves into how, as Tomas has put it, the concept of home is changing in Honduras. It's a topic he understands well, having covered his country's recent challenges, but also being the grandson of Palestinian immigrants on one side of his family. Through his powerful photography, well-chosen words, and a deft storytelling skill that threads it all together, Tomas helps his audience understand one of the world's most important stories through the lives of the people who are living it. This project, titled The Right to Grow Old, is a reflection of the sort of journalist Tomas is. A skilled documentary photographer, yes, but also a student of the human condition with a deep expertise in the impact of conflict and displacement. This is a critical moment in the history of human migration, and Tomas has shown a commitment to revealing the humanity behind this story. Very much in the spirit of Jim Foley, Tomas approaches his subjects with sensitivity and also cares deeply about the safety of fellow journalists, having completed a training program that teaches freelancers how to care for one another should someone be injured in a war zone. I have no doubt that Tomas is the sort of journalist Jim Foley would have been proud to call a colleague. And so, I am thrilled to present the 2019 James Foley Award for Conflict Reporting to Tomas Ayuso.
Hello. I'm extremely nervous. Okay. Well, thank you to the Online News Association, the James W. Foley Legacy Foundation, and especially Diane and John for everything, really. To receive a recognition that commemorates the memory of Jim and his compassionate storytelling towards those who suffer in the world's most awful conflict zones, and the kind-hearted support that he shared with his colleagues that he loved so honors me as much as it humbles me. And it's a legacy that I'm proud to continue, as it was mentioned just recently. I would like to also thank you, the editors, who gave me a chance, a young, someone with a dream from Honduras, and the colleagues who have kept keep me grounded through this whole process, as well as the country of Honduras and the Hondurans who I've met on the road, whether they be at home or abroad. I'd like to thank my sisters when she's here. Dominique, if you could show your hand. Oh, she's with the phone. There she is. There she is. My mother and my grandmother, who made me the man I am today, both as a person and ultimately as a journalist. Unfortunately, 20 days after I was born, our father passed away, and my sisters in tandem raised me, while my mother toiled away to provide for us 3 of her children. And during these times of hardship, she hardwired into me a sense of justice, dignity, and moral valor that inform my way in which I walk through this earth, but also eventually, without her really knowing, who I would become as a journalist. But I'd like to speak a little bit about my grandmother, who, during the days when my mom would have to work as a single mother to provide for us, would babysit us, and during the orange-hued Tegucigalpa afternoons, she would tell us all these different stories about Palestine and migration, things that we wouldn't exactly understand, but they just left a mark on us. And through these stories that she would tell, our curiosity was piqued about this concept of displacement and how Palestine was her home, but also Honduras was her home. And through this migration, how she learned about the world and how migration itself allowed her to bloom into the woman that she would become. These lessons of curiosity and these lessons about learning about other people and fostering empathy towards the mass complexities that each individual has, that each individual is a universe in and of themselves, would become part of my own marrow. And now, 25 years later, with my grandmother having returned to the ancestors she never again once saw in her life, I have finally been able to understand these lessons that would become part of those supper time stories that she would share with us. And in seeing these images, once Honduras began to unravel and collapse, as I say, and I'd see these images of, vast swaths of people rushing to the border with children swaddled to their back, I understood really what this meant, how the story that my grandmother lived in the 1940s was repeating itself in Honduras, something that was far off into the past when I would listen to her speak, now was in the present, seeing it unfold on television. And these different parallels as they happened at the same time, all very confusing, very difficult to digest. It became grounded for me one time when I was in Mexico and somewhere lost in the wilds of Veracruz, that I saw a man waiting for the bestia, the train, the freight train that migrants and displaced people and refugees ride to go to perceived sanctuary in the United States. I asked him, "Hey man, where are you from?" He said, "Honduras." I said, "Oh, that's crazy, me too. Whereabouts? Where are parts?" And he said, "Tegucigalpa." "Hey, I am also from the capital city." And he said, "I'm from El Centro, downtown." I said, you don't see that every day? I'm from El Centro as well." And I kept asking, "So what part?" "La Leona." I said, "Me too. What street?" "La Alhambra." Right, that's my street. Was it near the oak tree?" "Yeah, it was near the oak tree." "Do you know Doña Ana, my grandmother's name?" "Yeah, we'd sometimes, work with her." I say, "Who are you?" And it came to be that this man was my neighbor. And, through coincidence, happenstance, and all these different things that happened, here we were, two capital city guys standing in the middle of nowhere, Mexico, hiding from all the different wraiths and forces that unfortunately follow Hondurans in the displacement trail. And it became obvious to me, it became clear to me how this conflict that was unfolding in Honduras just was total. It left no one untouched. Everyone was being affected by it, either through directly, indirectly, or any number of, in any sort of the gradient that one can be. And it was at that moment that I realized that in the Honduran collapse, that it is our obligation as storytellers to represent how interlinked all these stories are, how the parallels exist, the histories exist, the resilience of people in order to preserve their right to life, or as I call it in my project, the right to grow old, and the extent that anyone will do anything for their survival. And to cite the words of the fallen saintly priest of El Salvador, Oscar Romero, us storytellers, us journalists, our obligation is with the truth. It isn't with power. It is always with the people. And as journalists is headed towards this, it feels that in Honduras it's always been under attack. Being a journalist isn't considered something that a career that will bring you long life and prosperity. Unfortunately, is quite the opposite. But now, as it seems that journalism is under attack everywhere in the world, is that we cannot be cowed into silence, no matter what kind of journalism we do, either if it's conflict journalism or any other type of journalism. We cannot be cowed into silence. And as now, seeing as that I am recipient of a conflict journalism award that covers Honduras, Mexico, and the United States, conflict isn't something that happens in far-flung corners of the world or in black and white images, it is happening now, and it is happening not only in my country, but in the country of whom I presume the majority of you are in this country. And I would like to leave with you some 3 lessons or some things that I think that worth sharing, which is that there is no such thing as people without voice. There are people that are forcefully silenced, and it is our job to remove these vocal restraints. There is a value into having a more diverse newsroom or more diverse voices in order to better reflect how diverse life is. And as long as there is conflict and the news cycle grinds forward, we are honor-bound to stick around and tell the stories of the communities that are affected by this violence. And I'd like to close with the following, given I have this opportunity, and is that please free the refugee children, reunite the asylum-seeking families, and close the camps. Thank you.
Congrats again. How you guys feeling? Yeah? We're getting there, I promise. Take a second, roll your shoulders, stretch your neck. Home stretch, I promise, okay? We got this. All right. Next up is the Al Newhirth Innovation in Investigative Journalism Award. This award comes with a $4,000 cash prize. I know, right? Among small newsrooms, the finalists are Breathtaking, Undark, Recycling in Chicago, Better Government Association. One judge said this piece of journalism changed the way she thought about the world. Judges commended its beautiful presentation and powerful photography, describing it as journalism with global impact. The winner is Breathtaking, Undark.
Thank you to the Online News Association and to the judges. This is really a great honor, and it's a great privilege to be among so many amazing journalists tonight. I'd like to quickly mention what a collaborative project this was. We teamed up with reporters who live and work on the ground in 7 countries around the world, and I'd like to shout out to them really quick. Xiaozhu, Gayatri, Sohara, Anna, Brendan, Patty, Yasmina, and Sasko. You guys should be really proud. We anchored the project in the unflinching photography of Larry Price. Larry couldn't be here tonight, but Larry, you really did amazing work. And we partnered with Stat News to produce some really rich and haunting 360-degree videos, and we did all of this with the unwavering support and funding of the Pulitzer Center on Crisis Reporting, and of course our publisher, the Night Science Journalism Program. And all of them worked alongside our tiny team of editors and fact-checkers and designers, and they all share this prize. But I think all of them would join me in wanting to give this recognition really to the 4 million people, truly 4 million people who die every year as a result of air pollution. And in particular to the people who opened their lives and shared their stories with us. These were elderly people in respiratory wards in Macedonia. These were mothers who were trying desperately to help their asthmatic children in India and Chile. And these were activists who were fighting endlessly to overcome the political and the economic interests that continued to poison their air and to shave years off the lives of people in Bangladesh and China and Nigeria, and right here in the United States. So we dedicate this award to all of them, and I thank you.
For the medium category, the finalists are Case Cleared, How Rape Goes Unpunished in America, Newsy, Reveal from the Center for Investigative Reporting, and PRX, ProPublica. Also, Investigating the NRA, The Trace, and also the New Yorker. The judges were impressed by the quick impact this piece generated. The winning series of videos, a database, and data visualizations pushed government agencies to correct flaws in their crime reporting processes. Judges commended the team for making their data available for other reporters to download, to expand the scope of this project in a very powerful way. The winner is Case Cleared, How Rape Goes Unpunished in America, Newsy, Reveal from the Center for Investigative Reporting, and PRX, ProPublica.
I didn't know there were going to be two of us, so this is good. I'm very honored to be accepting this award on behalf of the reporting teams at Newsy, Reveal, and ProPublica. I'm going to let you talk for Reveal as well. Including Mark Greenblatt, Bernice Young, Emily Harris, Zach Huson, Kenny Jacoby, and Sophie Chow, and many others. I really want to thank all of our sources, especially the sexual assault survivors who are willing to put their names and faces and voices out there to tell people about the effect that exceptional clearance had on them and that misleading police statistics had on them. And I want to thank Sergeant Liz Donegan, the police insider who was willing to risk her career to tell people about the pressure that she felt to change police statistics in Austin. Finally, I'd like to thank our organizations and our editors, all of whom were willing to invest quite a bit of our time over the course of the last year, as well as a lot of money on travel and on FOIA requests. We ended up sending over 100 FOIA requests out, and that has some costs associated to it, but that's the only way that we could get the 70,000 rape cases that we ended up using as the core of this project. And without that level of commitment from our organizations, this kind of story wouldn't be possible. So, thank you.
I would also like to add a few words for the Center for Investigative Reporting. I just want to commend ProPublica as well for being a great partner in the process. I wanted to share with the audience that this was the first project that I got to touch and see come to life. And so it was a tremendous reporting assignment, and I can't thank all the people who were a part of that reporting enough. I was personally moved to speak with some of the victims of the injustice, and it is really an honor and privilege to accept this award on our organization's behalf and to be a part of this great collaboration, so thank you.
For the large division, the finalists are Driver's Notebooks exposed Argentina's greatest corruption scandal ever. 10 years and millions of cash bribes in bags. La Nacion. Parkland, unprepared and overwhelmed, South Florida Sun-Sentinel. Your apps know where you were last night, and they're not keeping it secret, the New York Times. Judges described the winning entry as an explosive investigation with explosive results. A true example of a newsroom holding a powerful institution accountable for its actions. The judge recognized the winning entry for introducing audiences to original sources and earning their audience's trust. The winner is Driver's Notebooks exposed Argentina's greatest corruption scandal ever. 10 years and millions of cash bribes in bags. La Nacion.
Well, thank you very much. I am accepting this award on behalf of our team from La Nación. We are once again extremely honored to be receiving such an important award tonight. This investigation exposed Argentina's biggest corruption scandal ever. So far, 73 individuals have been prosecuted, including a former president and other government officials. 40 have been imprisoned, and another 40 already confessed their crimes and are waiting for oral judging. So this is not just an award for La Nación, but to all Argentinians who believe in democracy and support every day our mission to fight against corruption and impunity. Thank you very much.
Journalism is not just read, it's also seen. Next, we honor excellence and innovation in visual digital storytelling. Finalists in the small division are Banished, The Marshall Project. Gimme Props, Cal Matters. Poison Cities, Deadly Border, The Desert Sun, The Arizona Republic, USA Today Network. Politics Through the Data, We Do Data. By asking a very simple question, how much time do you have right now? The winner in this category found what judges described as a brilliant idea to engage with readers based on their schedules. Judges also commended the project's powerful reporting, clear organization, and strong visuals, including original photography and 360 video. And the winner is Poison Cities, Deadly Border, The Desert Sun, The Arizona Republic, USA Today Network.
So thank you, ONA. Thank you, the members. I know this is a project that won in visual storytelling. It was truly a tour de force that involved people across the USA Today Network that came together to tell really important stories. But at its core, and like the core of most of these stories, it is about giving a voice to the voiceless. So I would dedicate this to the residents in Mexicali, Mexico, and in Calexico, California, who told their stories to us about how they lived next to the most polluted river in America and breathed some of the most toxic air in America. And to Michelle Dugan Delgado, who buried her 16-year-old sister and told us about it with the lung capacity cut in half. Truly, this was an effort that the reporters Ian James and Zoe Myers dedicated themselves to and had the empathy to chase these stories and tell these stories and earn the trust of these communities over 2 years. They allowed me to subject them to weekly, sometimes daily Zoom calls. You guys have been on those. But they came together every day and they wanted to tell these stories, and it came together and made a difference because the state of California and the federal government immediately responded by trying to help solve the solution or solve the puzzle of pollution across the border in Mexico and how we could monitor it and actually warn these citizens about toxic air in their communities and how they could gather together to clean it up. So thank you so much, and cheers.
For the medium category, the finalists are Actual Reality from McClatchy, Mayberry, Texas, A Catalyst Project, KXAN, The Chatbot Who Loved Me, Adajins Narensleeve, Touchstones, The New Yorker. Judges praise the winning entry for allowing users to experience key parts of the story through animation and illustration, narration, and 3D rendering. The immersive experience truly allowed audiences to connect with the story's subject, judges said. The winner is Actual Reality from McClatchy.
Thank you so much. So Actual Reality is both an augmented reality app and 2 nonfiction series that live on that app. We set out to do some of the first local journalism built entirely in augmented reality. So we built an app by journalists for journalism to do it. We couldn't have done that without our entire McClatchy New Ventures Lab team. That's our full-time staff, our cohort of storytellers and residents, and we'd also like to thank our talented colleagues from across the McClatchy company for all their assistance in editorial, user experience, audience engagement, everything. Lastly, I'd like to thank our executive leadership, including Andy Pergam, Scott Manuel, our CEO Craig Foreman, for valuing local news and the need to amplify that local news with innovation. There's not a technology that's going to come in and save the day, but we can use technology to tell the stories that really matter in the communities we serve. Thank you.
So I was one of 4 people in the cohort during the McClatchy New Ventures Lab. I want to thank the lab and also ONA. I'd like to give a shout out to my co-producer, Cassandra Herman, who's not here, and also for the Los Angeles Times, who has believed in the future of storytelling and who I'm with now today and the reason that I'm here today.
For the large division, the finalists are Borderline, The Washington Post; Flood Thy Neighbor, ProPublica, Reveal from the Center for Investigative Reporting, NPRX, Vox.com; Susan Potter Will Live Forever, National Geographic. Judges said the winning entry was highly polished and a complete visual story. They commended the team for creating a flyover experience punctuated with photography and text that kept readers informed of the story's tiniest details while making them feel as if they were right there in the scene. The winner is Borderline, The Washington Post.
I had nothing to do with this project. I got the trip to New Orleans and got sort of pushed into this at the last second, so my apologies for needing some notes. I'm just really, I think we're all honored to be awarded in this category. We're huge fans of all of those other projects, Flood Thy Neighbor and the National Geographic project. This project was really led by our graphics team, led by Chiki Esteban, as well as Tamiko. They really sort of pushed this in the newsroom. As somebody that sits near them, it was a pleasure to watch their creativity and to see how it came to life digitally and then also in print. And this project really started, as they told me, from Laris Karklis, who is one of our cartographers. He wanted to scroll the border. He'd been wanting to do this for years. And if you haven't seen the project, I hope you take some time to do it. Armand and Kevin Shaw did a lot of the development work, bringing Laris's original vision to life and then expanding upon it. Joe Fox pushed it over the finish line and added many of the subtle details that made it great. And Gerhardt, who works with some of the editing on this, brought a sense of humanity to the project. With vignettes about the border, as well as Danielle Rindler, who brought a human focus to the interactions and design. Tim Miko, as I mentioned before, did the editing on the project. And I just urge you to go check it out. It was such an important part of our coverage of the border last year. It allows you to see a perspective along the border that is really hard to see in any other way. So thank you.
Now we're on to the University of Florida Awards for Investigative Data Journalism. To present them, please welcome to stage Amira Lowe, Director of the university's Innovation News Center.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the College of Journalism and Communications at the University of Florida, I am proud to recognize the important work done by journalists across our industry with this award. The University of Florida's Award for Investigative Data Journalism, made possible by the estate of Lorraine Dingman, honors work that best features and presents data journalism on digital and mobile platforms. Winners will be asked to travel to the university to hold full-day workshops for faculty and staff. They will visit with the Innovation News Center, and they will be awarded a $7,500 prize. In the small medium newsroom category, the finalists are Free to Shoot Again, BuzzFeed News, The Trace. Hurricane Maria is Dead, Quartz, Puerto Rico Center for Investigative Journalism, and the Associated Press. Lessons Lost, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. And Vanishing Violence Inside the Staggering Drop in Serious Youth Crimes, San Francisco Chronicle, Hearst. The judges said this is a small newsroom identifying a problem and finding a solution. It's engaging, the storytelling is powerful, and compiling the data gave a view of the big picture when it was completely invisible without it. And the winner is Lessons Lost, the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel.
Wow. The only reason I'm here accepting this is that no one else from my newsroom is here. I had literally nothing to do with this except I think I wrote a couple headlines. The editor involved also would not write something for me in case he would jinx it. So, but I have some information. The people, again, who deserve the credit for this are not here. Reporter Aaron Richards told the personal stories of these students, teachers, and parents to bring so much emotion to this really kind of intense data about student turnover rates in Milwaukee and how that is one of the main problems holding students back. And this story really showed people in the community why they should care about it, and again, exposed this problem that was in the data all along, but no one had ever really pulled out before. Aaron Coy, Andrew Malika, and Kevin Crow were the ones who turned that data into, from really complicated data sets into beautiful graphics that simply but effectively drew people through the story. And editor Greg Borowski was the glue of the project that kept everything going. And this story is just one example of the investment that the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel and our parent company, Gannett, has made into telling important stories, that finding a way to tell those important things in ways that people will find engaging, no matter how sticky and hard the data is, no matter how long the project lasts, no matter how tough the story is. That's why we're all here. So thank you.
In the large newsroom category, the finalists are Copy, Paste, Legislate, USA Today Network, the Arizona Republic, and the Center for Public Integrity. Heartbroken, Tampa Bay Times. Murder with Impunity, the Washington Post. And the Force Report, NJ Advanced Media. The judges said the winning entry is a standout that exceeds every standard for this category, especially one of impact. The richness of the reporting around a huge data set is impressive. The visualizations are powerful and clear. This is data that was hard to obtain, but they filed over 500 public records requests and had nearly 3 million data points to collect and sort through. The impact is nothing short of amazing. We hope that this can be a model for every state, considering the importance of tracking use of force by police. And the winner is the Force Report, NJ Advanced Media.
Hello, I've been asked to speak this time. I'm really thankful for the award. We worked hard, we worked smart. It was a great team, and thank you to the editors as well. But I'm glad that it was a lot of data to handle, but I'm glad that we kept the people in the data first and always kept that in mind while doing the 1.5 years worth of work. But thank you, everyone here, for the award.
Put your hands together for Rich Jaroslavsky, ONA founder and vice president of Smart News.
How's everybody doing? How's everyone holding up? We're in the home stretch, I promise. I want to tell you, first of all, just how great it is to be here on ONA's 20th. You know, 20 years, that's quite an achievement. And I think we're entitled to pause for a moment and congratulate ourselves. Okay. The moment's over. Now we've got a lot of work to do. At 20, we've long since passed out of our gawky adolescence. Now, though, we need to assume an even greater role. As many other journalism organizations and journalism itself remain under great stress, and as ONA continues to go from strength to strength, it's imperative that we assume an even greater role in shaping the future of news. Put simply, we need to lead. We need to lead in standing up to those who seek to bully or intimidate news organizations and individual journalists. We need to lead in standing up for the traditional journalistic virtues of fairness, accuracy, and speaking truth to power. We need to lead as the journalists with the greatest understanding of the power of technology to define the ethics of how that technology should be used. If there's one thing we've learned over the last 20 years, it's that the tools available to us to tell stories and to deliver those stories are constantly changing and evolving. ONA has always been at the forefront of those changes, and it always should be. But we must always remember that the tools, as cool as they are just means to an end. And the end is always journalism. You know, truth, justice, what used to be called unironically the American way. Speaking for my fellow founders, we're incredibly proud of this organization and all it's accomplished. Back in the 1990s, the task facing those of us who started ONA was building an organization that could help shape a new news medium. And based on the evidence, I'd say we did all right. Today, the challenges are infinitely greater, and the stakes are infinitely higher. This is ONA's opportunity and ONA's duty, and it's the challenge from we voices of the past to you, the leaders of today and of tomorrow. ONA needs to lead. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
We only have 4 more awards to give out. That deserves a round of applause. It's the big finish now, the General Excellence Awards, which honor the overall output of small, medium, and large news outlets. After that, y'all are free to go party and buy me a drink. For the second year in a row, thanks to Democracy Fund, the entry fees were waived for newsrooms in the micro newsroom category. In the micro newsroom division, the finalists are Ausfato, postdata.club, The Pudding. Judges applauded the winning team's proficiency with data collection, analysis, and visualization, and recognized its innovative approach to incorporating AI into their journalism. The winner is The Pudding. Are you pudding? You, no. We accept the award on their behalf. Congratulations to The Pudding. In the small newsroom division, the finalists are Better Government Association, Honolulu Civil Beat, The Marshall Project, and The Trace. Judges for this category were impressed not only by the overall excellence of the winning site, but also by its incredible breadth of coverage. For anyone living in the area, the site has become an indispensable source of news and life-saving information. This award comes with a $5,000 cash prize. The winner is Honolulu Civil Beat.
Speak, so only half. Thank you, O&A. This is really quite an honor to join all the other incredible winners out here. And it really, seeing all this work really just propels some of our ambitions and is really an inspiration to everybody, particularly for us, for those of us way out there in the Pacific. So thank you, O&A. Journalism is a team sport, and certainly this is really a team award for Civil Beat. We all aspire, I think, at Civil Beat, starting with the editor, Patty Epler, and the rest of our staff, really, to build a culture where we can innovate and experiment with our storytelling, but really also keep the focus on our core role, our core values as journalists, our core role as a watchdog, and for keeping government and private interests accountable. I also want to make a shout out, and this is, I think, essential having coming from a traditional newsroom. I also want to make a shout out to our fundraising and engagement team. A few of those people are here tonight, whose efforts since we became a nonprofit have helped us build much stronger relationships in the community and much more personal relationships, I think, in the community. And as I said, starting as a nonprofit, that's been essential to our work and really to our journalism. Finally, I want to just say a few other things. There's a lot of mistrust toward the media in general, toward the press in general, some of it well-earned on our own part. But we found in Hawaii, and I think this is really true for my peers, at least in local journalism elsewhere, there's also really hunger for in-depth and tough-minded and well-told coverage on critical issues in the community. In our community, that means coverage of issues like police corruption, climate change, the cost of over-tourism, adoptions of black market babies, really, or black market adoptions from Micronesia that have been continued to go on despite rules against that, the mentally ill on the streets. All of those kinds of issues, people, I think, really respond to that really deep, important coverage, and well done. And particularly in an era when I think journalism resources have been slashed so dramatically. Thank you again.
Congrats again. Our finalists in the medium division are ProPublica, the Texas Tribune. The judges said few news orgs provide the breadth and depth of coverage or as impactful as this one. The publication's combination of investigative prowess, writing strength, and data analysis make it a formidable entry and the obvious winner. This award comes with a $5,000 cash prize. The winner is ProPublica.
Hi, everybody. Thank you very much. I want to take tonight to say thank you to all of you. I think it is no surprise that all of our other awards tonight have been in partnership with many newsrooms in this room. Our partners are an enormous part of our success and the things that we're able to do, both in terms of the fun and interesting and beautiful digital work that's being produced, as well as the impact of that work in the world. I'd also like to take tonight to say thank you to someone who is not with us tonight or at all. Herb Sandler, who died earlier this year, was our founder and our longtime tireless champion. He was not terribly impressed by awards, though he was always pleased to see us win them. He was primarily interested in the impact of our work, and he made sure that we heard that repeatedly in board meetings and conversations everywhere. It supported us throughout our days. So this year, we'd like to say thank you to Herb and take this award in his memory. Thank you.
I got 2 pages left. Woo! Yes. All right, in the large division, the finalists are the Globe and Mail, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal. Judges commended the winner for successfully using advances in digital storytelling, mobile apps, and user engagement to further elevate its already strong journalism. This award also carries a $5,000 cash prize. The final winner of this evening is the Wall Street Journal.
Hi, good evening. I'm Karen Miller-Pensero. I'm the managing editor of the Wall Street Journal. Thank you so much for this meaningful acknowledgement of the work of so many talented journalists and designers and data scientists and audience experts and visuals chiefs and hiring managers, and I could go down the row. all of the people who've chosen to work together in the newsroom of the Wall Street Journal to write this chapter of digital transformation. Editor-in-Chief Matt Murray sends his regards and his regrets that he couldn't be here tonight. And also our congratulations to all of the finalists and the winners, and to all of the folks who are fighting the good digital journalism fight. The Journal team, there have been a lot of us here the last few days, and we've had an excellent time learning from you and sharing with you some of our things that we're learning along this journey. I know Matt thanks me and joins me in thanking ONA, the esteemed judges, and especially the staff of the Wall Street Journal who worked so hard on these initiatives for our current and our future audience, and that crew keeps the audience front of mind in everything that we do. This work, as you all well know, requires an incredible willingness to innovate and be flexible and experimental as we grow in the digital space. But it has to be anchored in trustworthy, fair, fact-based journalism. These are characteristics and beliefs that define my colleagues at the Journal, and I am so very proud of all of them and their work. Matt and I want to give special thanks tonight to Louise Story, who joins us on the stage, our head of newsroom strategy, for her vision and her leadership, and to our partners, Susie Watford, our Chief Marketing and Membership Officer, and Raman Beheshti, our Chief Technology Officer. The Wall Street Journal and Dow Jones, our parent company, have a long relationship with ONA. The Dow Jones Foundation is a lead sponsor and proud sponsor of the ONA Women's Leadership Accelerator. The work done here and throughout this year, the year by this incredible organization is so impactful. It's so impactful to large newsrooms like ours and to small newsrooms as well. And on behalf of so much ONA for what you do and for the time and commitment that you put in to make journalism stronger and better. And on behalf of the Wall Street Journal and the staff, thank you again for this very, very special award tonight.
All right, that's it. Thanks for putting up with me. Congrats to all of you. Go drink. See you in Atlanta. Have a good night.